All right. Well, let's talk about Thor because I know you saw it.
I did.
Let's not talk too much about it, though.
No.
I'm seeing it on Saturday.
I saw it. It was very good. I did a whole podcast about it already.
Oh, an uninformed opinion?
I did an uninformed opinions about it where we talked about it at length with lots of spoilers. So you can listen to that to get my full thoughts. But all in all, I liked it. It's a cute movie. I think it highlights the problems with Rotten Tomatoes. This is like the perfect movie on why cheapies should no longer trust Rotten Tomato scores as the end-all be-all to see a movie. And it's not because Thor is bad. Thor is a fine movie. I enjoyed it very much. Yes. It's not that. It's that the Rotten Tomatoes algorithm is based on whether or not a critic likes it. And there's very little reason for a critic to not like this movie. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that it's the best movie in the Marvel franchise. It just means that a majority of critics liked it.
It's agreeable to a lot of people.
Yeah, critics. and that's where I think the fault comes in cheapies' reliance on Rotten Tomatoes. Because if a movie is polarizing, it could be an excellent film that's worth watching, but you wouldn't see it because it would have a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, you're right. I probably wouldn't see a movie that was 50%, but I think if it was a good movie that was polarizing, it would probably be higher than 50%.
I'm just saying you should really, pay less attention to the score and more attention to the content.
Well, how am I going to do that if I haven't seen the movie?
Why are you trying to make cheapy watch crappy movies?
Right.
I'm not. I'm saying that maybe what he thinks is a crappy movie isn't.
I do more research than just look at I don't really because I don't go to the movies that much. But if it's on video or something, I'll watch stuff that's not like in the 70s or something. Or if I think that it's something that I'd be interested in, I don't. The score isn't the be end all for me.
Okay. Oh, and I watched one episode of Gifted. By the way, I wanted to let you know I watched an episode.
Oh, we're done talking about Thor already?
Oh no, you can talk about Thor. Go ahead, talk about Thor. Thor it up.
I don't know. I like the soundtrack.
Yes, I talked about the soundtrack.
I like that the 80s synth vibe.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty cool.
Yes.
And it's just also very funny to watch a movie like that. And then before that movie, we saw the trailer for Justice League.
Woof.
Oh my God. I mean, that is just Aquaman is like, hey bro, check out my pecs, bro.
My wife really wants to see it. So
does Ty. So does Ty.
Yeah, but I'm going to make like a date night of it. Maybe I'll even try to order food. My theater started to do the thing that Shipwreck's Theater does where you can order food and they bring it to your seat. And like what happened to Shipwreck once, I ordered food and they never brought it to my seat.
What kind of food are we talking about?
They had an appetizer sampler, which had chicken wings and chicken fingers and some fries and like a whole bunch of other stuff. They also now have stuff like brisket and burgers. What? They serve beer and wine.
What movie chain is this?
This is an AMC.
Oh.
We have several different chains around here that do this.
Yeah, they changed the name of the theater to the AMC Dine-In. Like they want you to eat there, which is fine. It's not, I don't mind that at all. I like that concept. But they never brought my food. And they brought food to like people all around me, so I'm smelling food. But I'm not
great experience.
But I'm not eating food, and I'm hungry, and
you're spending 2 hours just mad because your food never.
Yes, and you're like looking around, like you're never really focusing on the movie as much as you'd like to.
Yeah, fuck that. I'm not ever doing that.
So I walk out. I go. I ask for the manager. I show him my receipt for my food. I said, "This is the receipt for my food." The problem is, I never got the food that goes with this receipt. So he goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry." So they refunded the food. I got my money back for the food. I got movie passes to go back to the theater. Mm-hmm. And the guy behind the counter felt so bad for screwing up my order. When I was talking to the manager, he gave my wife just a bucket of chicken.
And a free copy of Overwatch.
Like, here's all the chicken we have. Please, I'm so sorry. I must have looked like I was ready to kill somebody because I was starving.
Yeah.
And I ate the chicken on the way home.
God.
I don't think that concept works.
It doesn't.
I've done it several times now. The only part of that concept that I agree with why there's food there is so that you can have the beer. The beer part of it works, but I think they need the food so they can serve the beer.
I think they need to think through the food maybe a little bit better. I think like a finger food works, like a popcorn chicken Or
just the people like the servers walking around though, and like laying out the food and everything. It's distracting.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I wouldn't even watch a movie in a theater that did that because I don't want to be distracted by people bringing food constantly.
So it was an unfortunate experience, but a fine film.
And the problem with the beer is you drink the beer and then you got to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's why I wouldn't have beer.
I still have a functional bladder. I can get through a movie.
I remember I went to the movie, a really nice movie theater in Tokyo, and they had a bar there, and in fact, they gave you a free drink with your ticket. And we went to see, I think it was Inception, and I remember there was a Japanese guy sitting next to me, and he had his beer. He finished the beer, and he slept through the entire movie.
Nice.
It was like, great, you just paid $30.
Although to sleep during Inception is sort of meta.
Right. Yeah, he was really into it. I mean, fucking, yeah. Anyway, we like Thor a lot. Ty's favorite movie, just like every movie we see.
He says that after
10 out of 10. What do you give, Papa? What do you give the movie? I'm like, it's like an 8 or probably like 8 out of 10.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, what?
That's fair.
It's like 10 out of 10. It's like, dude, every movie you see is 10 out of 10. It can't all be 10 out of 10.
Please, I watched that stupid Smurfs movie that came out, the all animated one. Oh, that movie was terrible. And Elliot's like, can we watch it again? Like, there's another room in this house if you want to watch it again.
Do that shit on your own time.
I'll put it on an iPad. You could sit in your room and watch it if you want to see it again.
Did the fact that the Valkyrie was not portrayed as bisexual bother you?
She wasn't portrayed as any sexual.
there was an article on Kotaku about how that was like a big problem.
I didn't know that was an issue. It's a non-issue. And
let's make the movie longer. Let's make the movie that's more than 2 hours longer.
They don't. But it's not like they said one way or another. I don't understand. It's not like there was a part in the movie. It's like, we got to go stop that bad guy. Yes, but wait, before we go, I just need to let you know I'm not bisexual. Okay, let's go.
Right. There's sexual harassment allegations against me as a Valkyrie. Oh, and by the way, I'm bisexual. So, All right. What else we got here in Watch This Bitches? You watched the Dana Carvey.
Yeah, there's a documentary on Hulu. That's a Hulu original documentary about the Dana Carvey show that ran for 7 episodes in 1994.
Right. And I remember it was sort of famous/infamous because it had a lot of really talented comedy writers who were sort of up and coming at the time. But
the cast was, and it was their first jobs ever in television, Steve Carell and Stephen Colbert were 2 of the cast members. And the writers were Robert Smigel and Louis C.K., all controversies aside, I guess, timely.
Oops, my penis just came out.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate when that happens. Oh, and I'm masturbating.
But it was, it was Louis C.K., it was Robert Smigel, and a handful of other very famous people that were writing on the show that went on to do big things. The co-creator of 30 Rock was one of the writers on that show.
Yep.
So it's really interesting, and they all talk about it very fondly. They pretty much got everybody to come back and talk about it, both Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell, and there were some very funny parts to it. It's worth watching. Again, if you have Hulu and you want to see a light documentary, it's totally worth your time. It's not heavy. It's not depressing.
Black. It's not Green Arrow.
It's not Green Arrow.
It's worth my time.
Yeah. Also, my train show of the last week was the 4-hour Tom Petty documentary that's on Netflix. I've watched all 4 hours of that documentary about Tom Petty.
Nice, dude.
It was good. That's good.
Let's move on. Before you start talking about the Tom Petty doc. Gotta move
Did you
along.
know that Tom Petty?
He seemed like he was an okay guy, but I don't know. A 4-hour documentary on Tom Petty is something I would.
It's long.
Endure.
I don't know. You'd be surprised. Even the losers get lucky sometimes.